It's my pleasure to introduce to you Ching-Ying Chien, a young choreographer from Great Britain, and her piece, VULTURE, will be presented at Bratislava in Movement Festival. So maybe my first question would be, because VULTURE is really a nice title, and I know that there is an old inspiration from Tibetan story and the myth about the vulture, because vulture, nobody ever sees the body of deceased vulture. That's the point of the story. And
yes.
So how comes that this story inspired you to create the piece?
Yes, so I just really randomly saw this book. My friend showed me. It's in the Mandarin. It's in my language. And then I just saw this sentence. I just get fascinating just because the freedom of the human, of how we can choose, the bird can choose to be die. He can decide the way and then the time. And it fascinated me because I have I have a friend's mom. She used to have breast cancer. She already passed away 5 years ago. And then I help this friend to take care of the mom. So I saw the process of a woman. She, because her cancer spread all her body. And I saw the statement of a lady. She conscious is clear. She can talk and start to lose her eyesight, her hearing. And in the end, she can't move, but her sense still very clear. And I remember by the bed, she told me, say, I just want to leave. Just please let me leave, because I feel I'm a clear person, but I stuck in this, our meat body is not functioning anymore. So this memory just come back to me and then quite impact me big time. So I just start to decide I want to use the vulture. They can decide their death to become the first influence of my piece. And after I shared this idea with my painter friend, her name is Davish. He lives in Brighton in UK. And then he said, oh my God, have you heard about this Western mythology Icarus story? I said, no. So I think everyone in Western might be know really well. So I try to combine the birds, a vulture have a freedom to choose a life, and then a woman desire to fly high. And then in the end, the desire is so big, so it collapsed to the ground. So these two comparisons, it start to make me to think about our humans' desire. Our desire want us to do more and more, but somehow we are collapsing at the same time. And also inflect to my own family. Like my family, my mom is a very, she's really religion about like a Tao or Buddhism. And then it's quite funny, like, because I need to make my mom happy, so I follow her religion. I respect it. But my mom sometimes would tell me, say, oh, all you're successful, you need to thank Buddhist or God. And then for me, I respect everyone have a religion of their way, but somehow it didn't happen to me yet. Yeah. And so I just need to accept, I just feel like, from this background of a Buddhism traditional Taiwan growing up, it limit me somehow. So I made me want to escape, fly away too. And also connect to my father. He is a free mind. He's like a vulture. He has a free mind. He's a taxi driver, but he also a musician and painter. And then the problem is he drink too much, but it doesn't matter. He has a free soul. And so my dad, one day when I was touring with Akram Khan Company, 2015, and my brother just called me and said, Dad is falling asleep, just passed away. I was like, oh my God. It just somehow in Asia, the time when you can sleep, pass away, it's a bliss.
Yeah.
And then, so anyway, so all the story, my vulture, Icarus, my mom, my dad, all this surrounded me. I said, okay, I want to do something about it.
Wow.
So
It's really very, very rich and very emotional story behind. And how was the process for you to put it on the stage? All this emotion, all these background ideas. So, what was the methodology? You think how you can proceed that to bring it, some of these emotions, some of these stories on stage?
For example, sometimes I try when I choreography, there's an emotion bit and more scientific bit, like a very movement, how to say, sorry, my English, the scientific movement, how the joint can join each other. So that's two bit in VULTURE. So, because I'm a dancer background started, so I really focus on the element of movement first. Collapsing is one thing about, because Icarus and then human, the collapsing is one thing. So in one show, I have a challenge for myself. Part of a piece in the show, I try to stuck my head on the ground, and that's it. I can leave it. So that is my game rule. So some of movement is come from like collapsing and imitated of an animal transformation, like from VULTURE, the neck, and how I from here to transform different body. And I also use a lot of body dislocation to create the illusion of maybe it's bird, maybe it's human, or maybe it's in between a creature. We don't know yet. And it's like, for example, I also, because when I write VULTURE, I also think human, we born as a meat. We just drop as a meat. And then you cannot decide who you born with, where you live. You just a meat. And then the meat, you need to start to learn, become a human. So the beginning of a VULTURE, I come out as a meat. I think I'm myself a meat. I don't have a limb, I don't have an arm, and I learn how to start to move. Yeah, and second part, I become a human, and each time I want to come up, I'm just collapsing. So that is the movement way I thinking, some key to use my movement. So how to say, I don't want emotion charge myself first. Otherwise, I'll cry too much. So because I believe that the movement, the layer of movement behind the emotion will come after, and it does happen to me in VULTURE a lot of time in a show. For example, I stand in one leg with my hair, and then I just said why I do that by myself. I want to cry. So some of a movement limit, and it drives on the motion coming. Yeah, that it's roughly.
So for me, it seems like you have no limit in your movement. Your body is really very flexible.
Thank you. And I also want to examine what is a human limit, because our body, I want to, for example, Icarus want to have a wing, want to examine the human limits. That's what I want to do in VULTURE too. But when my age growing, and then I feel, why I do that to myself? But I enjoy it though.
Yeah. And I think it's also a very specific show because of the live music. So how was the process to bring in live music and musicians to your piece? What was the collaboration between you and music?
Yes. So the first impact for me, it's when I do Akram's show. It's called Until the Lion. And in the show, and there's 4 musicians around. So it's a music live with a live dance. And this is the first time, because we performed that show nearly 200 times. It's kind of 2.5 years tour. And then when I perform, I start to feel this live music each time give me a new information and refreshment. And also because it allow me to perform in a certain structure of dance, but inside I found freedom. And those freedom, it kind of really is me. And I feel I'm able to perform this show 200 times. So this is a first impact. Oh my God, the music does create like a beyond my brain and my body pores is all open. So that's why I decided to invite this composer. He also is one of the musicians in this show Until the Lion from Akram Khan. And then we start to work together. And then the interesting part is his background is a metalhead. The metal. It's a rock and roll, but he also do theater music. That he used to work with Hofesh as well. So we just said, okay, you are metal and rock and roll. I'm a little bit like my background from I'm training from Asian traditional dance, and then especially that is called Taiwanese opera. If I direct translate, Taiwanese opera, it's like when I was kids, me and my brother would take our little bench and we sit on the stage just on the street, and then the motorbike just like this. So we're sitting there watching those characters with live music, and this all influenced me. And I was like, "Oh, then can you put some my Taiwanese element mix with your metal?" Or because he's an English, so like English rock, Pink Floyd, Black Sabbath, those era. And so we start to work with a little bit mixed culture. And yeah, it worked really well. I don't know from audience, but for me, each time on stage, I feel really honest because music is live and they kind of conversation each other, music and then dance. Yes. Yes.
Great. And there is this specific, very, very specific costume. So what was
yes.
What was the idea behind, or where it start?
Yes. So I was this VULTURE style was actually it's funding from Akram Khan Company. We started because in that year Akram's producer Farouk he said, oh, he want to pick for like a young new choreographer. So I'm one of it. And then he introduced this costume designer Maria. She's so we just start to work with. So it's from Farouk. And first time I share her about this VULTURE and then the human body, the skin. And then I also want to, because in the show, I constantly change to human and then become someone, how to say, not priest, but in Taiwan, we have this temple thing. Like when you're calling God, they will call God drop into your body and you become this kind of, speaker for God. So they all have this big long rope, like a Japanese kimono. Okay. So I give this element to them, to her, and she just come up with this. She said, look, this jacket, you can fold it back like a feather or vulture. And when you're wearing up, it become a human. And then in the studio, I discover if I take a back of a jacket, I put it front, I become no face, but I look like a kind of God, a symbol. Oh. So yes, so that's why I start to transfer, including my character and this black fabric in the show also. Yeah, it's like a clay of know what happened. And then you start to reveal it come out. Yeah, so it's fun, like, because by myself I cannot to have too much prop. So I think those fabric elements, it does help me to transform.
How impregnable it is, like during the show, how it behaves, this material. It's sometimes maybe very tricky, is it?
Yes, can you see that? Oh, now I think about it, I'm all flat. Yes, I think the jacket we become friends now, but this is a big fabric.
Yes.
I sometimes, because I need to rotate underneath, and then there's a spotlight Pacific I need to standing on, and each time I underneath, I say, oh my God, where am I? Yes. Yes, the panic still going on. I hope one day I will earn it.
And maybe my last question is like, how
Yes.
comes that the girl from Taiwan ends up to be a member of Akram Khan Company?
Yes, I was work after I graduated from the art school. I was 21, and then I meet this. She's Taiwanese as well, but she was a principal of Mathagram company in 90s. Yeah, and then she come back to Taiwan, and she has her own company, and so I joined her. And then in that time, she and Akram has a dual diagnosis. And this lady called Fang Yishu, and she told me, said, do you want to come to Hong Kong to audition Akram Khan Company? Because Akram is perform his solo dash there. And now I was just saying, who is Akram Khan? Because in that time, in 2011 or 10 years, there's still no smartphone, no YouTube. But actually, I'm quite glad I born in that time, experience. Anyway, so I said, okay, I don't know who's Akram Khan, but I really want to come to Europe because it's always my dream as a dancer, but I just no money, so how can I make it? So I said, okay, let's go Hong Kong, it's cheaper. So I went to Hong Kong, and then Akram saw me, and then he invited me to London to do a R&D for his show called iTMOi. It's kind of a rite of spring. That's the 100th anniversary. Yeah. You saw it. Yes, I was short hair. Yes, so that is how I getting. And moment my English is better, but not so good. But beginning I enter company, I barely can say English. So I actually come here, say hi, and then finish work and goodbye. So that was so that's how I met Akram.
Oh, great.
Lovely. Yeah.
So it was nice to talk to you, and I'm looking forward to see you in Bratislava and to see you dancing. So thank you very much for this talk.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This time I made fabric better. All right.